right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another DC Worlds Collide video. This is Mr. Squirrel, as always. Glad to have you here. So let's talk about the patch notes and the full, not the full breakdown, but we got crumbs for Peacemaker. So I'm going to go over those and the patch notes in this video. All right, so let's start here. The first thing to take note of is how they're going to be releasing epic characters. I'm pretty sure the legendary characters will go... We'll see, because how they did DCU Superman, a week later they put him in the general pool. I'm wondering if they're going to keep that the same way. So like after Peacemaker ends, a week later they'll put him into the general legendary pool that you can just get him during weekly recruitments. That doesn't mean you'll have a rate up for him. It just means you'll have an option to pull him if you do weekly recruitments, which you should not be doing. So I'm just saying that part. Now, the other thing is the Justice Gang was added to the league recruitment banner, which means if you scroll all the way down, this is the points that you get from doing league challenges. And right now I have 31. You do, they go by tens. So when you get 10, you can do a single summon. Long story short, this is where they're sitting now. So they are featured currently on this league recruitment. If you want these characters, maybe now if you have some league recruitment, points saved up, this could be a chance to actually pull them. I might try to do them later. I would really like to see if I can get one more copy of Terrific or Guy. That would be really great, or really swell. All right, so now if we go back, let's go back here. So Justice Gang is on the league recruitment, and then finally Weasel and Dr. Phosphorus have been added to the general epic recruitment banner. So you can now put them as desireds on the epic recruitment banner. I think Dr. Phosphorus, especially if you're thinking about running a attack-centric burn team, he's really good with the new Superman, Superboy, and Starfire, with Mr. Terrific running as a leader. I think that overall does work. Yeah, so if that's something you're interested in doing, it's now there. The League Challenge leaderboard has now been shown in the Hall of Justice. Great. So there's the leaderboards, updated leaderboard in the League Challenge UI to be tappable to take you to the leaderboard. Okay, so it's just ways to go to leaderboard. Legendary characters now have a red background to differentiate from epic characters. If you go to the epic, you'll see this. I really like this change. It was too difficult to notice them. I'm like, we knew who they were. I don't really like this red though. It's a little off-putting. It feels a little bit like blood red. Yeah, I kind of want to make it a little bit more, I don't know. I don't like the red, but it's okay. Maybe orange. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of the red. That's a personal preference. The red kind of creeps me out a little bit. Okay, let's keep going. Weird side tangent, but yeah, the red creeps me out just a wee little bit. Updated the equipment pick quick select level up flow. It's now easier than ever to invest in your equipment. So if we go here, let's go to Hal Jordan. I've got this. So if we go to strength, quick select. Oh, so you can just it's okay. That's interesting how this works. Okay, cool. They made it easier because it was kind of tedious. You'd have to keep pressing quick select and then quick select, apply, quick select. It was and then strengthen. I mean, it was kind of a pain. Okay, cool. I'm glad they did that. That is actually kind of annoying. Right now it's nice. Improved wish surfacing for the first purchase of the day via the pop-up. Okay. Show off your Victor's Arena wins with the exclusive frame only available to players who reach top ranks in the mode. Each subsequent win after earning the frame brings you closer to more cosmetic frame upgrades and bragging rights. Interesting. Actually, we can see that right now. Let's see where I'm at. I probably didn't do that well. I'm pretty sure I got my butt whooped. Unfortunately, I've only made it top 32. Great. So, oh well, that's my life. Oh, hey, I made it to... Okay, cool. That's fine. Whatever. Works for me. Well, I made it top 32. I'm going to live with that. Cool. We'll see what happens later. Maybe we can show off it later. Okay, bugs. Now, I did see these bugs earlier, and one of these bugs has actually been impacting me. Pretty significantly, to be honest with you. Updated the rollover times for Arena Elseworld League Shop to match weekly start times. Cool. That's nice. Fixed an issue where the Blue Beetle's ultimate was incorrectly named. Okay, Mr. DCU has been added to the affinities list for Superman DCU. Oh, interesting. Hold on. Oh, so this was a bug. Now that's nice. Okay, cool. I'm glad we got to see that. Okay. Let's keep going. Fixing an issue with Green Lantern Hal's passive Undying Green Light incorrectly counted as physical damage instead of super. I saw this earlier. I have actually been dealing with this issue. Now, if we go to Hal Jordan, because he is my most ranked up character, Undying Green Light. What this means is that his enhanced attack was actually dealing physical damage. Now, this is on the Mr. Terrific team a huge deal. I was noticing on the Mr. Terrific team, his basic or his enhanced attack was doing way less damage than his normal attack. Why is that, chat? Simply put, he gets 50% damage bonus on Mr. Terrific's team because he's doing superpower damage. Well, on his normal basic, he was getting the 50% superpower damage. On his enhanced basic, or his Undying Green Light passive, when he got his enhanced basic attack, he was not actually getting that bonus damage. This actually did impact me a couple times where I was like, his enhance is not doing that much damage. So this is a really noticeable change for me specifically, because I was noticing when he did his enhance, he was doing noticeably less damage, especially on Mr. Terrific's team. So I'm really glad they fixed that. That's kind of a big deal. And I'm glad it has been fixed. So just take note of that. All right, let's keep going. Fixed an issue with level 3 Weasel's passive incorrectly stated that bleed he inflicted lasted 1 turn instead of 2 turns, and then fixed an issue that prevented the players from progressing in the Forever Evil story feature. Okay, and then capped a coal like a word in the lobby. All right, let's do this. So I think they fixed something here. Okay. Okay, let's do... Can I just skip past this? Okay. I'm curious if they finally fix this. This has just been sitting here not doing anything. Okay. Let's see what happens. I'm very curious what happens here. Best you got. Okay, now if I skip past this, yeah. These parts worth trouble. Okay, maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Whatever. There's that. So I was just curious to see if these patch notes are kind of minor. But again, for me, this was actually a really big patch in the sense that it helped fix an issue I was having with one of my main characters. So, hey, Devs, glad you fixed it. Now, let's go over to the information they've released so far on Peacemaker. Okay, what do we know? I'm glad they also fixed this. There was a wording issue. They were saying strength trait. That's not right. A tank character with the mighty trait summons eagerly who can inflict fragile, a new debuff that reduces physical damage resistance. Okay, so in other words, he summons eagerly, he's the red tank. He does debuff the enemy with fragile, which will increase physical damage taken. And then finally, this last point that we got today, heals himself and his allies whenever an enemy is defeated. Now, what does this mean? On bosses, he might not be that great. If there's like a single enemy, he's probably not going to be the best. Means my brain is thinking he might be better in AoE situations. You know who's really good in AoE situations? The Green Arrow team. I'm thinking I might run him on a Green Arrow team. I think that's where he might excel in that team. We'll wait to see because he has to do AoE damage. So if we go back to Green Arrow here, let's look. Green Arrow. I want to look at his affinities. Okay. So all deployed allies attack and HP by 12%. During battle, attack of all allies with AoE characteristic increased by 16%. That's pretty good. The first AoE ultimate from each ally applies silence for 1 turn to the enemies with the highest and lowest HP percentages. Now, if he does an AoE attack, I think when I saw him in his kit, when they were showing the video of it, it did look like he was doing an AoE with the Sonic Boom helmet. I'm kind of hoping that, and then Eagly is his enhanced basic attack. I think that'd be really cool. Sonic Boom is his ult, enhanced basic attack, which makes him more of like an offensive tank, which it's almost like he's the, what's the right way to say this? He's like the offensive version, or he's just the legendary, that's the word, legendary version of Bane to a certain extent, with physical damage reduction. So let's see what he does. Tomorrow they will release his kit. I will go over his kit tomorrow. Today I just wanted to make this video just talking through the pieces that we got. I do think it's kind of interesting when we think about his kit. Let me go back to his kit right now. Sorry. So this piece is interesting this piece is interesting in the sense that heals himself and his allies whenever an enemy is defeated, right? So what's kind of interesting about this is that he's got a form of sustain. Remember in my video about Zatanna and what's the word? My God, guys, my brain right now is like, woo, but full day working. Zatanna did not have enough healing I don't think, in the passive that she's giving, right? Her life steal isn't enough to compensate for when I was talking about Constantine, right? Well, if your team is doing so much damage and able to kill the enemy outright, then they're going to heal back anyways. So he might be the replacement for Bane. This is actually a really cool ability. I'm imagining this is his passive. Eagle is his enhanced. We don't know what his. I'm imagining his ult's gonna be Sonic Boom. And that leaves two other things in his kit that I don't know about. We'll have to see. I hope he has some form of damage reduction. That would be great. If this works the way I'm thinking it works, he will definitely. I think I might go for a Green Arrow team with Constantine, and then him and like Wonder Woman and all of them. I think that would be really cool. It's very kind of exciting to think about the fact that we have a tank that can sustain through killing the enemies. That would be really good in the story mode when we start having to need to have a third team. He will be really, really good for that. But again, we don't know the rest of his kit. I'm really looking for, he's got to have some form of damage reduction sitting in that kit. Like 100%. He needs some form of damage reduction. Something to give him the tank, like make him a tank, right? Because this sounds all really good, but if he can't tank, then we got problems nonetheless, right? So, yeah, I'm hoping that we'll see tomorrow what he does. I'm glad they made the patch notes. And they fixed the thing that has actually been affecting my play, because that physical damage was really actually noticeable in a lot of parts of the game when I was getting Hal's enhanced basic. I'm like, great, I got the shield, but he's doing no damage with that enhanced basic when his basic was doing like tons of bars of HP. And I'm like, what the heck is happening there? Okay, we'll see. I will go over his kit tomorrow evening when they release it. I will do a full breakdown video and a reaction to it. And we'll see what happens. I'm really hoping he's busted in the sense that, like, it would be really cool if I'm hoping they do the same thing they did with Superman, where he's very good on the burn team. And I'm also hoping that he's not nerfed. And what I mean by nerfed in a way that, like, we saw it with DCU Superman, where he wasn't that great when he came out. And then they just buffed him into godhood. They got to be better about making sure that when they release a character, that they're at least up to par. Because DCU Superman was not. And I'm really hoping they don't make the same mistake again and then have to buff up to godhood, right? Or the reverse, and he's god, and then they have to nerf it. They shouldn't, like, you don't want to nerf a gotcha. That is, like, the last thing you want to do. Because that will really disincentivize people from spending money if you nerf a character. You never want to have to nerf. It's always like buffing is at least better than having to nerf, because if you nerf, then like you are essentially saying don't spend money on this game, because you never know if the character you spent money on is now just gonna, like, months later just not gonna be as strong, or days later could not be as strong. So there is that. Those things that they have to consider. Again, I'm just praying they make him good. And he's good on multiple teams, so that if people do summon for him, he offers like a wide range. I'm hoping he has some form of a taunt. That'd be really cool. We'll see, but also take note, Superman does counter him, or just the physical damage team, because he's got a second life and he's got a ton of physical damage. So we'll see how this fragile works even by itself. For him, I'm just seeing it more as like a nice to have. We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video helps. And as always, remember, failing is just your first attempt in learning.